Hi, everybody. We are coming on tonight, and I will have two other ladies on with me tonight, and we'll be discussing the power of the promise is the title that we have. And so I have myself and a very great friend of mine, Miss Tawanda, and another great friend named Barbara will
Yeah,
be on tonight. And so, Tawanda, is that you?
yes.
Okay, so I was just giving an introduction basically of your name, which is Miss Tawanda, and myself, April, will be on tonight talking about the power of the promise and just going in detail about our life and how far we've came to be who we are today. So Tawanda, I have you and Barbara said give her a second. She's getting her stuff together.
Okay.
How are you?
Would you like to hear my podcast? Okay. Hold on, April. I'm good. I'm good. I have a young lady in the car. She's riding with me. I'm taking her home, and I'm gonna plug into my if I can find my cord here. Oh man. Oh, give me a prayer. I'm driving, so trying to multitask here. Uh, I know I'm gonna rush your way. 1 minute. Let me get over so you can fast.
So as Tawanda's getting her stuff together, um, I want us to be able to discuss, as I've said before, kind of how did we get to where we are today, the trials, the tribulations, the troubles that we face. A lot of people look at us now and they don't think that we know what we know and that we've been through what we've been through. And
April,
say that again, Tawanda.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Can
you.
you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you get all your things situated?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, I know that you're working, Tawanda, so I want, um, to be able to get a few minutes of your time where you can kinda give your introduction, your testimony, so to speak, of, you know, what is your status today?
As far as what?
Like, who are you? Who is Tawanda? So introduce yourself.
Mhm. Okay. My name is Tawanda Blakely. I'm 52. I'm a single mama of 3 grown children. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. I have 2 grandsons. They're 7 and 8. I am a associate minister in my church, which is Lincoln Street Missionary Baptist Church. Um, I became a ordained minister. I became a licensed minister in 2012. I became ordained in 2014. In that process of becoming a minister, I've been homeless. I've been on house arrest. I've been um, literally sat down and stripped away a whole lot of things that I valued and that I enjoyed and loved. So God could get my attention, and it's been rough and it's been wonderful. Kind of in the same way, but it's been an experience.
Right. Okay. So I'm gonna introduce myself. I am April. Cozy. And I am 37, I think. Yeah. I am 37 years old and I am a single mother of 5, 2 adult children and 3 minors. Um, I am a divorcee and I have had a lot of life experiences. I've had a lot of trials. I've had some errors. And so I am in the rebuilding process of my life where I am getting to know myself better. I am getting to know what I want to do, getting to learn my purpose in God. And I am eager to help other people kind of find what they want to do too. I love helping people. I love my family. I love my friends. Um, and I am learning to love me better.
True.
Yes. So to one, I want to go back. I want to take it a few steps back because I wanted to do this because the youth don't understand. They see us now and they don't know. Like they act like they don't know who we are. Like
Right.
we've been kids before.
Oh,
And so it's like, huh? They say stuff and you be like, what in the world? Like you just was born adults, right?
right, right.
And so
Yeah.
I want to really kind of take it back and kind of take the sheets off a little bit, so to speak,
Okay.
And so, like, I guess my first question would be, um, who were you? Who were you at 13?
Why did you put that age?
Because that's like the beginning of your teen years. That's like the age where you kind of feel like you know it all already. You kind of feel yourself more, and like you don't really want to hear what other people got to say to you. So I'm gonna choose 13.
Me to be um open and honest, or you want me to
100%.
be
I want you to be
just
100% open and honest, like your granddaughter's life depend on it.
I wish I had one of those, but okay. Um, at 13, was a, I started running away from home. I was adopted. So my mom's boyfriend at the time wanted to do things that he wasn't supposed to do.
Mhm.
And no one believed me. And I ran away. And um, when my mom would find me, she would tell the police that I was a compulsive liar, that I was not one to listen at home. And so I kept running away until I was 15. And during the time of me running away, I was raped. I was gang raped. I was, um, I wasn't beat. I was just locked out of where I had ran away to. Um, and then at 15, um, because I wasn't going to school, up in New York, the police get involved because it was called truancy officer, and
Mhm.
they got involved to put me in a girls' home. They put me in a facility for girls, and a young lady, we were the same age. She had been on the street selling her body, and she was like, "Let's run away, and I'll show you how to do that." But the grace of God, thank you, Lord. The next morning it was snow. I didn't want to run away in snow, a lot of snow, so She ran away that night, and I stayed asleep. And that morning, my biological mom came and brought me to South Carolina, and that's how I ended up in South Carolina. My biological mom, because my adopted mom didn't have legal papers on me to put me in a girls' home till I was 18. My biological mom came and got me.
Okay. And so that's basically you from 13 to 18, right?
No, 13 to 15.
Okay.
Oh, you want me to go to 18?
Stop right there because I want to introduce Barbara. Barbara just came in, and I would like for Barbara to tell us a little bit about herself really quick. So you got to unmute yourself, Barbara. It's on mute. Try it one more time. So Barbara's trying to figure out how to unmute hers. Tawanda, you still can hear as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. She's trying to unmute. I can see you, but I can't hear you. Go out and come back in and see if that'll work. Okay. Yeah, Tawanda, I think, yeah, I'm gonna put a pin right in it at 15, because then I'm gonna let her introduce herself, and then I'm gonna go back to that age for me too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell her it's the microphone that's on the left.
Okay.
If you touch your screen, hit the microphone that's on the left. It's a little microphone.
Yeah, I told her to go out and come back in, so that's what she's doing now. Yeah, there she is, coming back now. All right, I think we got her. She is connecting to audio. Tawanda, you got in real fast. You tech savvy.
But my writer did it for me. You know, you gotta have somebody young when you're dealing with technology.
Well, I was about to give you some credit. I was gonna give you a little bit of credit.
I could take that one right there. I said, can you do me a favor and she'll be right. She said, you just do this.
well, good. Good. Tell her I'm happy she was in the car.
She hear you. I asked her if she wanted to hear my podcast. She's with me hearing you.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead while she's trying to figure hers out too. I want to go back to that age for me because I remember when I was 13, I'm gonna go to 13. Because that's the age where I remember where I started being interested in guys to date at about 13. And so at that age, I do also remember because I don't even want to say that I grew up in a single parent home because I don't even know if that's an accurate statement. It's like I grew up in the could it be a single? I mean, my grandmother raised me a lot for a certain period of my life, and then I was with my mom, but I never saw my dad. Like he was in and out. You know what I'm saying? So he was never consistent. So I had never seen a consistent male in my life. And so at 13 was the age where I started noticing guys. And I remember that's when I started dating for the first time is when I was 13 years old, and I started dating a 16-year-old. And I was growing up in these apartments in Aiken, South Carolina, which was a poverty area project, type of situation. And he lived there, he lived out there and he gave me attention. And I bit like it was fruit, you know what I'm saying? And so because I put myself in a situation at 13 to be with a 16-year-old, they definitely took advantage of that. You know what I'm saying? And I remember that I liked him so much. I remember liking him a whole lot, but I don't think he really liked me that much. He wanted to see what I could offer. And so I remember those years, I spent from 13 to 16 trying to convince someone that I was worthy of their attention. Yeah, so I remember staying in this guy's presence, like we would be together all the time, but he would like be with other girls right in front of me. He was doing what project boys do. And I would always be trying to convince him, like, I'm worthy of your attention. Hey, here I am, And he'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. And so that was me probably from about 13 to 16. Was pretty much, I would sum it up as looking for love in all the wrong places and dealing with validation issues from male and female perspective, basically looking for love in all the wrong places, which is what many of us do. And
did you think you was pretty?
I don't think so. I thought I was pretty, and I don't think that I had ever heard that. And I know I had never heard it from my father ever because he was inconsistent. And so that's the importance of having a father that's consistent versus, how some people just think, oh, well, you got your man in the house and at least they got a daddy. But that don't mean nothing. Because if they're inconsistent, what purpose are they serving?
Right.
So I want to say when I was a kid, I probably maybe seen my daddy maybe about 4 times. And it wasn't like 4 long times. It might have been for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And it was never like, oh, April, how are you? Oh, you're so pretty. It would be like, hey, where your mama? Mess like that. Stuff didn't serve a purpose.
Yeah.
And so no, I don't think I did. I think that I was looking for the validation in whom I was trying to date.
Yeah. What were your grades like in school?
My grades was really good, so I've always been a perfectionist. And that comes from having abandonment issues. You feel like you got to be a people pleaser. You have to always do your best because you have some of the times you develop that imposter syndrome where, oh, people may think that I'm fake and phony when you're really, you're really trying to do your best to please. And this is the real you, but because you kind of feel short, like you may come up short and that somebody may see it. So you're always trying to overcompensate. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I wasn't like mine was opposite. One, I never ever like I didn't have a mama or a dad. They did my I was given away because I was too dark as a baby at 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Just here you go. You could take care of this child. Wasn't like no adoption or anything like that. It was given away.
Right.
And so then the lady who took me had a massive heart attack at the age of 5, and it was just me and her. That I was 5, she was, older. Her daughter was in the military and took me and raised me. As long as she didn't have a man in her life, everything was wonderful. But when it was a man, she didn't pick good men. And they all, from the time I was 8 all the way up until I left her, wanted to be inappropriate. So my grades in school was real bad because I would, get threatened and either they're gonna kill me or her. And
Right.
You're 8, 10, 12, you don't want the one who's raising you to die because you saw someone die already and you don't want to die. So you kind of give in.
Right.
Then when I got with my biological mom at 15, thinking everything was going to be better, now you're still the same complexion you was when you was given away, and people still don't like you. And then you have these uncles who are the same way of what you ran away from.
Mm-hmm.
So in your mind, that's just what's going to happen, and you allow it to happen, and you feel stuck.
Right.
So you feel
It's like you kind of felt like that's all there was to life.
Yeah, and you start getting angry and mad and mean because you feel like life is unfair to you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of when you were about 15, that age is when you start kind of tapping into the anger stages.
Yes,
So Barbara, you got yours figured out?
I think so. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very good.
Yes.
Okay.
So me and Tawanda was kind of going through our me and Tawanda was going through our testimonies, and Tawanda was so we started out about introducing ourselves and kind of starting at the age of 13, who we were then.
Okay.
And so I'm gonna give you a minute to introduce yourself.
Okay. I hate when people do that. I never know what to say.
Who are you?
Okay. Well, my name is Barbara. Mother of 6.
Okay, go back and forth.
You say your mama's 6?
108. Can you tell me the
directions? Oh, okay. I thought she was talking to me. I was trying to listen to what she was saying. A mother of 6. Trying this entrepreneurship stuff out. See, got a grandbaby. Wife, That's about it, I guess.
No, that is not who you are. That's who they are.
No, like I don't know. I guess I don't know. I don't know what to say. I never know what to say when
What?
somebody say, "Tell me something about yourself." I
All
just
right, so
describe what I am
Barbara,
to people.
you are a mom of 6, and what do you do daily? You are a working mom of 6, right? Right?
Yeah.
Barbara,
Huh?
I just said, hey, I just realized who it
Are
was.
you serious?
Yes,
You do too much, bro.
because I'm driving, so I wasn't looking at the phone. Oh yeah, April, she's way more than what she just said.
I know, right? I was trying to figure out who it
Yeah,
was.
No,
yeah.
but I'm saying like that question always really gets me, and I just had a conversation with somebody about that like a few months ago. I was like, every time somebody says, "Tell me a little bit about yourself," I always describe what I am to others, but it's like I don't know. I never really know what to say to
Who are
describe myself,
you?
and that seems weird, but it's like that for me. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, who are you? Who are you as a woman, as Barbara? What makes Barbara Barbara? It's not your kids. That's part of you. But before them, who were you and who are you now?
Okay. Okay. See, I can answer that better. Okay. See, I'm loving. I'm caring. I'm understanding. I've. I don't know if you can. Well, I can say like. I'm. Well, I'm going to say that I'm a generational curse breaker because I feel like that's what I'm doing in my
Yeah.
healing process. I feel like that's what I'm doing in my healing process. I'm a nurturer. I don't know. Just me.
You
I
just,
don't
yeah.
know.
Well, I would
Yeah,
say you are a great mom. You
thank
are a
you.
helper. And I would say that you are a pursuer of God, because you are heavily pursuing Him since I've met you, I feel. And that in itself is a great part of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So tell me, who were you at 13?
13.
I choose 13 because that's kind of the age where you're kind of leaving your childhood and entering into your teen years,
Right.
and you become another person.
Okay. Ugh. 13 was kind of like chaotic for me. I would say a good part of my childhood was chaotic. I'm not saying that my childhood was terrible. Like, just like, oh my God, I can't believe I made it out. But it was a struggle. It was hard. Um, I had two parents who were the complete opposite of each other, but I felt like, how your parents get together back then. It's like they just stay together because that's just what we do, good or bad and indifferent. I had seen a lot by then. I was angry all the time because of how life was at home. My parents they fought a lot, they fussed a lot. My father was an alcoholic, and my mom worked all the time to support us and take care of his habit. Um, I used to go to school and act like everything at home was fine. I think that's why, like, I used to have so much fun at school because I felt like I was just so free at school. Because at home I'm just in my room with the door closed, listening to this arguing all the time or fighting all the time, whatever. But I would say at 13, I think that's when I started to I don't want to say be someone I'm not, but it's like, you have two faces. You go to school and you smile and everything is great. And
Mhm.
I'm a straight A student, so everything got to be, good at home. That's what everybody thinks. I'm writing these essays and they're getting published in books, and I'm winning the Dare Award at school, and everything is good. And you go
Mhm.
home to fussing, arguing, police being called every single Friday night. I cannot remember Friday where the police didn't come. If they didn't come, it was just because they were tired of coming, you know.
Right.
Oh, wait a minute.
Um,
I got it.
my father he was abusive in every way, in every
Mhm.
way of the word. So it's like at 13, I think I was full of pain, I was full of rage. I tried to hide it because I didn't want people to know, because I was embarrassed, because everybody knew my father was an alcoholic and everybody made fun of me for it as if it was my fault. But you know,
Mhm.
kids do what kids do.
Right.
And I feel like I wasn't spending a lot of time with my mom either. And I think I'm not gonna say that's the only reason why I became a teenage mom, but when you don't get the attention at home, you will seek it somewhere else. And when you find it, that's what you tend to stick to.
Oh,
So
exactly.
at 13, I think, yeah, that's where I was in life. I was still trying to At 13, I was still trying to wrap my head around being molested at 7, and no one really, you know, saying anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, you know,
Like
it was
swept
like,
under
you
the
know,
rug.
right, like people knew, but it was like, well, don't tell your daddy. And
Mhm.
it's like, you know, like, it's okay because you're gonna do what your mother or your your elders tell you to do. It's like, okay, I won't tell him, but why? Why can't I tell him? So it's like, you know, you keep a lot of things to yourself. That's why I walked around angry, because I kept a lot of things to myself. And you're going through a time in life where you're trying to figure out who you are as a person, because you know you're leaving, well, you left elementary, you're in middle school. Around that time, you're getting ready to transition into high school the next year. So it's like, you know, I don't know, you're already trying to figure out who you are, but you have all these other things going on, and it's like every day, you know, it's just a lot, or
Right.
it was a lot.
Yeah. And so you dealt with that until you got about when you're about 15, were you going through the same emotions?
Yes.
Okay.
hmm I always kind of struggled with, I don't know, I guess like being who I really am around people that I didn't know, because it's like, you know, you kind of standoffish, because it's like at that point I had just created this wall for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if nobody can get over it, they can't hurt me, because I had already, I experienced a lot of things, being picked on by my cousins because I was told I was really dark. Had cousins that were darker than me, but somehow I was the darkest. But you know, you get picked on for that. You get told you ugly, this, second, and third, whatever, whatever. Um, like I said, my father was abusive, not only to my mom. He was verbally and emotionally abusive to me, even like at a young age. So
Right.
it's like, you know, you grow up with that. And if a father and his daughter's relationship is supposed to be, you know, like that, and that's supposed to be the foundation or the blueprint that you follow for how a man is supposed to treat you, then if you have a poor example, then you know that's just
Yes.
what you end up with. So
Right.
yeah.
And then it's like you chase what
hmm
you know.
hmm
Because
Yep.
I don't know if we be thinking, okay, maybe if we keep trying to find what we know, like we just gonna heal them and make them be a better
Yeah.
parent. I don't know what it is, about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But it's like you hunger for what you've had. You look
hmm
for that abandonment, or you look for that insecurity. It's like
Because
I'm
it's
gonna find
familiar.
my daddy where he at in you. You know?
hmm Yep.
Yeah.
Familiarity. It's familiar to you, so you feel like, oh, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be. So
Yeah.
this feels like home. But if home's not good, then you know.
Yeah. And you are standoffish. Not Tawanda's not. Tawanda is talkative.
I'm I'm not talkative. I'm just used to talking. So, it's like part of me. I'm used to talking and everything, but I feel like I listen too. I just,
You are a good listener, but I'm saying like when you first meet. So I remember when I first met you
yeah,
guys, Barbara did not really talk.
yeah,
Barbara's
that's
the
true.
type gonna throw her hand up and keep walking. And you'd be like, oh,
That's
okay,
true.
you know.
Oh yeah. Okay, yes, I am. I
Yes,
am the one that will speak and talk first, introduce. Hey, how you
right.
Right,
happy?
right.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
meet
because I'm not doing
strangers.
it.
I
Mm-mm.
do
She
not
gonna throw
meet
her hand up
strangers.
and just keep on walking. So I was like, oh, okay, then. Let it be. But I'm the type that I try to spark up a conversation. I'm gonna try
Yeah,
to pull you in a little bit.
yeah. That's true. That's true. But you know what that comes from? That just comes from because of things I've dealt with in my childhood and stuff. I don't trust people. So it's like, oh hey, how you doing? Because I don't know. You're not gonna come talk to you.
But see, I don't either. I have trust issues, but I'll still come and talk to people because I want to know who you are and what's your like what you here for, what you got. Like
But
tell me
you know
what
what
you
though?
paying for, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I think like I might wonder about a person, but it's like I'm not gonna come up and be like, "Oh, hey, how are you?" This that, and third. Now, like if I'm supposed to be doing it, like if I'm like a greeter, that's the only way you're gonna get me to do it.
Yeah.
But just to do it myself, I think at one point my trust was so broken in people. It was just like, you know what? The less people I talk to,
Mm,
the better. Like nobody, you can't
yeah.
use nothing I tell you against me if I don't talk to you. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm
I can
saying?
see that.
But
Yeah.
that's just how broken my trust was. It was really broken.
And I want to kind of get to what made it better, but I do want to ask. I want to get a little personal for a minute because I think it's going to help somebody. And I don't know, and I want to do it before Tawanda, because I know you're on the job, Tawanda. And so I definitely want to ask this question because it may be beneficial in this moment, as well. I want to get into talking about sex a little bit. And
Okay.
so when we first
You're
had
gonna talk about what? What are we
sex,
talking about?
sex, Tawanda.
Oh, okay. Jesus.
Minister Tawanda, we're gonna talk about sex for a moment and the outlook on it now, because when you were a child and you experienced that, what was the purpose? Did you do it because you felt like you had to? Did you do it because you wanted to experience it? Did you do it under pressure? You see what I'm saying? I want to kind of see what was the outlook on that in the
I
very
think
first time and then now.
okay.
Because
Oh, like
I think it's different. Like from the very first time you experienced it, what was your outlook on it then
mhm.
versus today?
For me, I was pressured into it because I didn't like I had sex for the first time at 15.
Mm-hmm.
Um and you hear about it, you got some friends doing it. I had some friends that was doing it. I had some friends that wasn't doing it. I was one of those who wasn't doing it. But it's like I was talking to this dude and he made me feel like, it's like you have to.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it goes back a little too to where I say when you don't have that foundation with your father, it's like, oh well, he acts like he loves me. He tells me he loves me. So if I do this one more thing, like he loves me, so why not?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it was for me. Then to tell you the truth, I don't know what my outlook back then was because like it's not like I wanted to do it. I did it because I wanted to. Like I said, I was pressured into it, so it was just like my outlook then was just to give him what he wanted, just because I thought he loved me. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just
To
that
please.
was me.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Tawanda? What about you, Tawanda?
The first time having sex wasn't like consensual. So it wasn't, it was taken. So I didn't really, have a choice. But then when, and I guess that's what led to, I've never looked at sex as love. I've never, even to this day, I went to therapy. I don't view sex as showing love. I look at sex as that's what a guy like and that's what he wants. And okay, so that's my job, that's my duty.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not one of a enjoyer of and I want to say it right. I can have it or I could not have it. I do it because I like the mindset I go in when I'm dominating a man or getting control or being in charge in a sense that mindset is not like a love making session. So I don't have any emotions when it comes to sex. Sex isn't something that I feel is love,
Okay.
whereas you teach a young lady to save herself for the right person,
Mm-hmm.
I, I that myself is not doesn't involve sex. Myself is me and who I am without the physical contact. So my first time was taken. My first consensual was with a man 15 years older than me, and I got pregnant by him at 18, 17, turning 18.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so yours is kind of like you said, a little angry is your outlook on it.
Yeah,
And Barbara's is pressure, I would say. And so that mine's was kind of what I said earlier during my introduction was 13, dating a 16-year-old, and mine's was pressure as well, giving them what he wanted because I liked them
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to keep them.
Yep.
Yeah. So I would say pressure.
Okay.
Yeah. So what about today? What is your outlook on it today?
For me, if I could have gotten, like, you know how they do like the sex educational classes in school, but I feel like they need to go in depth because I feel like, yeah, they tell you about, like, what can happen. You can get pregnant, you can get a disease, this and the third, but they don't cover the emotional part of it behind it. Like, you know what I'm
right,
saying? Like, you have
right.
people really killing people out here. And it's like, what is really driving you to that? Because there are billions of people in the world. So it's like, what is really driving you to that? I think sex is a part of that, you know, because I don't know. I'm just not gonna take somebody's life because they might be messing with my dude or whatever. So for me now, I feel like because of all the things I've been through, I look at sex as more like, if I could have waited until I got married, I would have, because I see why it's so important, because you're having sex with, this person. This person may be having sex with that person and this person, and you create soul ties,
Oh
you
yeah.
know,
Yeah,
and it's so weird, you're acting out of character. You don't know why you doing this or why you feel this way, or just the things that run across your
did I turn
mind.
at the store or turn at the red light?
Right.
But just the things that come across your mind or whatever, it's so, like, I think sex is like more of an emotional and mental thing than it is physical. So with everything that I've been through now, I like, to be honest, if I could have waited to this marriage, yeah, I wouldn't. I probably would have been like 35, just not having sex, because it's a lot that comes with that. It's a lot.
Right. I agree. I feel like it's a lot of responsibility,
Hmm.
and that you don't realize how much responsibility that is. Because,
Hmm.
like you say, you pick up all these different spirits from these people that you interact with,
Hmm.
and so you walking around with all these spirits on you, trying to
Yep.
figure out why you unhappy,
I
why you
was trying
happy, why you crying, why you
Hmm.
sad, why you depressed.
Hmm.
Because you got all these transferred spirits that's jumped onto
Right.
you from all these other people that they done had and that they done had.
Hmm.
When they say you sleep with somebody, you sleep with everybody that they done slept with.
Right.
That's true. You know?
Right.
turn right here.
And a lot of people do not understand that.
Yeah. I didn't understand it. I think I was probably, and that's crazy. It's gonna sound crazy, but I was probably like in my mid-30s before I really got that concept. And
Mhm.
that sounds crazy, but it's like, I just never thought about it that way. I don't know. I think like that's when my life started changing for me. So it's like a lot of things just started being like, oh, okay, like light bulbs was just going off because a lot of things started changing in my life then. So that's when I started thinking about it like that. And that's why I said, like, if I had really had the education about it and the understanding, yeah, I think I probably would have been like mid-30s. Like, like
Yeah, when you felt like you were mature enough to handle it, and I get that.
right.
I get
Yep.
that. Tawanda, do you still have the same outlook today that you had back then?
No, now I still don't have. Which one? Hold on. Give me 1 second, y'all.
Okay, I would say that my outlook has definitely changed.
Okay, wait a minute. Which one? That's what I'm saying. Which one is yours?
It is definitely not pressure. But I feel like you feel, Barbara, that it has to be shared with responsibility, care, and that it is nothing to be taken into lightly at all. You need to make sure that you make that responsible decision. Let me tell you what I am noticing a lot of teens thinking now. Sometimes you got the teen that's saying that they don't want a bunch of bodies. You know, that's how they use the terminology they use now. I ain't trying to get a whole bunch of bodies on me. And then you got the teen that says, well, sex is sex, you know, it don't matter how many you have. Ain't like I'm trying to marry them. You know, they got that mentality too.
Right.
So I'm like, okay. I've dealt with the teen that say they don't want a bunch of bodies. And so what do you even say to that statement? I don't want a bunch of bodies.
You know what? I don't know, because I'm not gonna say I've never heard that, but I just haven't heard it from a teenager. But if I could give any teen any advice, like, I wouldn't even be having sex in my teens. I just wouldn't, because you're not ready for that. Like, even though you think you are, you're not ready for that at all.
Right.
So if I could give any teen advice, I mean, to say wait till you're married may sound corny, because it did to me. But
you already know it, dude.
If you could, I would wait till I was married, because it's like you said, it's a lot of responsibility that becomes behind it. You have to be mentally ready to have sex, because what happens if you have sex with this dude today and you may be going through something where you don't have a good foundation with your father. You've never had a stable or a respectable male figure in your life, so you have sex with this dude, but in your mind you're thinking this is love. So when you have sex with him and the next day he don't know you and he walked past you, you could have a whole mental breakdown.
I was just about to ask you about that.
You know what I'm saying?
What was the attitude the next day?
Right. You could have a whole mental breakdown about that, and it could just break you into shambles because you're not mentally and emotionally ready for that. So yeah.
Because one thing about it is those phone calls get spaced out. Those visits get spaced out. You know.
Yep. Especially when after they don't get if they've already gotten what they want and they're really not into you that way, then yeah, as soon as they get it, they ain't gonna say deuces, but the actions are gonna equal it.
And if they don't say deuces, they act like they done, like you just said, and they still keep you around for as many years as you want to stay around, basically.
Right.
You know.
And if that's what you equate to love, or if you don't know any better, you'll accept that for years and years and years, until one day it's like, I don't know, it's just something in you. God just has to wake something up in you to where you either don't want this anymore, or you just come to realize, okay, this ain't love. And so you start to move different in, because that's what had to happen with me. I just had to wake up, so to speak, and tell myself this is not what I want to do. I don't even want to do this for my children. I want my children thinking this is okay. I have 4 girls, which means if I go through it with one, I'm gonna have to go through it with all 3 of them. The rest of them, and I don't want to do that 4 times.
Right. You're right about that. It becomes like a chain reaction.
Yep.
So what about what about I know you have boys too. What is the
Mhm.
difference between the boys and the girls you have in their perspective? Do you notice? Because like
As
we've
for
talked about, after the boy gets what he wants, how his personality changed. You
mhm,
may have witnessed that firsthand because you done seen both,
mhm,
girl. Because you have the sons too. You know.
mhm. Yep.
Do
And
you
see, you
feel
know what? With the boys, like I've told my boys too. My youngest boy is 14, and he just feels like he's the one that's gonna be breaking hearts, but he can't get his heart broken. And like I told him, you may feel that way, but you gonna run into that one, and that's the thing too. Like people always feel like, oh, these dudes just do these girls so wrong, but it's some ruthless girls out there too.
yeah.
Because I've been one of them too. I'm not even gonna lie.
Mhm.
I've been one of them
But
too.
and it came from what?
From what
Life
I had experienced.
experiences.
Hmm.
Yeah, it made you
It's
rough.
just like, when everybody else feel like, oh my God, just don't let, guys use you like that. Hey, ain't nobody using me. This is my turn. That's how I felt. But
Yeah, I got
I
you.
would say the difference with the boys and the girls. Do you mean like as far as like heartbreak or like after they have sex? Like which one?
Both.
I feel I truly feel that a girl and a guy, once they experience true heartbreak, they react the same. I feel like a guy may try to put up a little more, like, oh, I'm straight, whatever. But I feel like everybody experience heartbreak the same. You may not react to it the same, but you experience the same, because a heartbreak is a heartbreak. And I've been through a heartbreak. And
Mhm.
I don't know. It's just, I don't feel like gender wise, you I don't know. I don't think the heartbreak is different gender wise. I just think they're different in how they deal with it. Like a guy he may talk to four of the girls this week, or he may sleep with four of the girls this week. Sometimes girls need time, but now it's getting to where the girls are sleeping with four dudes in a week after you
Mhm.
just got through with somebody. So it's like, I don't know. These kids these days live off this. We don't have emotions, so they move fast.
Right.
But
Oh
that's
yeah.
not. I don't think that's healthy for them either. But.
But like I said, because I see the two different teams. Like I told you, I done seen the team that said she don't want a bunch bodies. Then I got the team that says I done seen the team that be like you just said, it don't matter.
Mhm.
You know? So I'm like, okay, I see them different mindsets.
Mhm.
But my thing is, I believe it doesn't matter how many bodies you done had, because like you say, you're
Mhm.
still going through the emotion. You still
Right.
dragging yourself with
Mhm.
somebody who may not want you like that.
Right.
So it don't matter if you done mess with one guy versus 10 guys.
Mhm.
You still going through the same emotional trauma if that's not the right guy,
Right.
you know?
Exactly.
And so that's the thing. Like I try to make people understand, if it ain't the right person, you still gonna deal with the same emotional trauma. You still dragging
Mhm.
yourself
Right. Because
because
I feel like you can meet the same person in different people, like the same spirit in different people. Like I literally have that. My children's fathers are literally one and the same. I promise you.
mhm,
I don't even know how I did it to myself like that, but they're literally one and the same. They act the same. They may have differences in them, but it's like when you just out here just bouncing from person to person, you may run into four or five people with the same type of mentality, because it's like you're not doing anything different. It's like you're still going for the same type of
and it's something.
person
It be something in
unknowingly.
you, yeah, and it's something in you that is attracted to them.
Mhm.
So this y'all spirits are attracted to each other. So you don't
Mhm.
see it that you jacked up, but he see it. He attracted to that
Mhm.
jacked up.
Mhm. Mhm.
No,
Mhm.
to me, and I'm sorry, I've been talking all this time. I did not know I was on mute. But it, what we as women, um, we don't heal before we go to the next person, because, like Barbara said earlier, that soul tie, until
Mhm.
we release and get that soul tie away, and we heal and we love on us, then we're gonna attract and keep attracting and repeating the cycle where um we're going for the same kind of person. and
I agree
you
with that.
know, staying in that situation, in that, and they're thinking like we can fix it or change a person, or this is going to be different. I'm gonna, I know what to look for now, and not, um and not go, or not tolerate, or not accept. And I wanted to, and I had said something too when you was talking about kids and guys, and when they are boys, when they're getting over hurt and everything.
Mhm.
Boys have, some boys are raised to like, okay, you can't show emotion. And I
Mhm.
so disagree with that.
Right.
So they get hurt, and instead of them having, like, a father figure, or a positive male role model that they can express, this hurt me. I really liked her. I thought she was, me and her was going to be together for a minute, you know. Oh, you could go get you somebody else. Nah, you can find somebody else. It's different. So they suppress feelings and everything, and they internalize, that, well, I'm a man, it's all right. I do this, and get away with it. I don't have to be responsible. I'm not this and that. I could find somebody else. And in their head, you know, they don't never deal with either the pain of being hurt. They don't, a lot of them aren't taught that a girl can hurt you the same way you hurt them, and then what to do after they get hurt. They got to love on them too, so it's how we, and I'm guilty as well, raise our kids. Because I remember when I was raising Sean, and I wanted him to know, oh, well, at the time, his daddy figure, was trying to tell him, he got to be a man. He can't, he hard, he this and that. You don't cry about this. You don't let nobody, you gonna be a punk and this and that. No, he can cry if he hurt, if he, scrape his knee, that hurt. I don't care who you are.
Mhm.
You don't sit and whine about it every day, but you can express that, oh, this hurt me. I got a boo boo now,
Right.
So from young age, they grow up that they have to accept pain. So when they get, now this is a different pain. This is a love pain, and this is something nobody done ever told me that this is gonna feel like this. And it's so unfair how we treat our boys, that they're supposed to be hard and they're not supposed to express emotions. Because I feel like, you know, men and women are both, we are emotional creatures. We're created from the love of God and everything. And that's true. A love, agape emotion right there. Every single one of us have that. When we're born, our parents look at us, no matter how cute, ugly, beautiful, wonderful baby, mine. I created this. You
Right.
know, that's how we feel, and we love, and we show that child love. But then we start raising them with a whole different mindset. You a boy, you this that. You a girl, you this that. Why? Why do we do that? It's a whole difference with how we need to go out and talk to our children, our nieces, our nephews, our people around us, and let them know that talking about emotions and feelings is a healthy thing to do. It don't
Right.
make you no less than the next person, because every one of us in life is going to be hurt by the love, by, you're going to be hurt um uh physically if you fall down, mentally if someone says you're ugly and you think you're cute, emotionally if you fall in love with someone, you know it, Jesus, I guess he didn't want his food, or he wasn't waiting no more. I'm in line. This man just went over stomp to get out of line and cancel his order. But how about saying, I wish I could have saw it. But anyway, it's something that we have to teach, you know, kids to deal with emotions because
Mhm.
it's sad. Hold on, I'm
Right.
gonna mute myself because I want to make sure they don't give me that wrong order.
So yeah, Barbara. I think Tawana made some good points about that.
Yeah. Mhm. And I
That
think the reason why, I don't know, I feel like if we're not careful, when she was talking about, why do we as parents tell our children, like, you're a boy, you're not supposed to cry, or, this and third. I feel like if you're not careful, you will raise your children exactly how your parents raised you.
oh, absolutely.
And, sometimes I even have to stop myself because my whole side of my dad's side of the family is literally like whatever comes to your mind comes right out of your mouth. So growing up, you got uncles who say what they feel. You got aunts who just say what they feel. You have a father who just say what he feels. So you grow up and you just say what you feel. And if you saw my uncle or my daddy that day and he thought you looked stupid in the outfit that you had on, they were gonna tell you that. And it wasn't in a nice way. It wasn't like,
Right.
oh, why you put them colors together? It wasn't like that. It was, what do you got on? That looks
Mhm.
so stupid. And it's
Mhm.
like everybody would laugh, but it was okay because it's like it was supposed to be understood that this is helping you. This is constructive criticism. I'm gonna make fun of you, and then the rest of the family is gonna laugh at you. So hey, that's just what it is. So you grow up thinking, hey, you just say what it is, and that's just it. So I
Right.
have to be careful with how I even talk or say things or correct my own children because like I have 6 different personalities, even though they all act the same in certain ways. They all have different personalities, and I may can say something to my oldest son. I may can say, "Oh, your feet stink," and he might laugh it off and go on about his day. I could tell that to my middle daughter, like, "Oh, girl, your feet stink," and she might cry herself to sleep. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah,
feel
it hits
like
different.
that's where it comes from. Like we're told that as children, like if I told my son as a kid, you a boy, you ain't supposed to be crying all the time, like man up, whatever, whatever. I just feel like if I hear him repeat that to his kid, like he got that from me, you
Mhm.
know.
Mhm.
So you have to be careful with it, especially if you feel like the way you were raised wasn't right or whatever. You have to be really careful because sometimes I have found myself, you know, fussing at my kids just because I'm stressed out. And I had to remember how that felt when you just asking like your mom or your dad a question, like a simple question, and they turn around and just yell at you. And it's like, oh my God. But I'm a child. I don't know or understand that you're stressing about whatever, whatever. But
Right.
it's also not fair to me as your child because I don't know you're stressing. So if I ask you a question, if I ask you what's to eat tonight and we're scared and we're low on food, I don't think the correct answer is to turn around and scream at me. You know what I'm saying? So I have to watch that with my own kids. Like if I'm stressed out about something or if I'm, having one of them days, I tell them when I first come in, look, I'm irritated, I'm aggravated. Just give me a minute. Just so I don't snap at them like I've been snapped at. So I
Right.
think that has a lot to do with it too.
Yeah, you're trying to
Barbara,
create
Yeah,
healthier situations.
yeah, ma'am.
do you remember when you was the first mom I ever saw done this, and I thought it was so amazing. Whenever your oldest two would get into it, or the two girls would get into it, and you was frustrated, you would make them hug. I mean, you
Oh
would just
yeah.
make them hug. They would hate it. I was like, oh, that's so neat. In my head, I was like, I never thought about that, but they hate all day, and you would sit there and make them hug, real hugs. Not no.
Hmm.
They was like, no, hug for 30 seconds. You got to hug, and I feel like, thought that was something wonderful. Yeah, they hated it. They were mad. They were. So I think, and I don't know now, them was my babies, but that it brought them a special closeness. I think siblings have this closeness
Hmm.
that we don't really, well, as a raising as a single child, you know. As the only child, I didn't have that luxury. That's kind of why I wanted my children to have singles,
But see, all
um,
three of us on here, Tawanda, are only children, pretty much.
oh yeah, because it's 18
Oh
years with
wow.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because you were older when your mom had your sister.
Yeah, it's 18 years. Mhm.
Oh yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay.
So we all, the
Oh,
three
that's
of
neat.
us, have that that only child syndrome, where pretty much it was just us against the world, I guess, so to speak.
Mhm.
Yeah. Versus now, your kids that you have now have those siblings that they can talk to, or
Yeah.
depend on, that support, versus who was our support kind of was really only God.
Right.
But see, I didn't grow up knowing God. I didn't meet God till I met this guy, and I was 27, and he took me to church. Now, I knew that it was a God. I feel like in my heart I accepted Jesus at 6 years old, and he protected me until I got to the point of being able to go to church, because my mom never took me to church or anything.
Yeah, and I
So
think that's what I was meaning to say too, is that we knew it was
yeah,
like a higher power there, because
yeah,
anybody who grew up in tough situations, it got to be something that out here.
yeah,
Right.
Making
yeah.
sure that you stay sane and
Right.
yeah,
Exactly.
it's
Keep
got to
you
be something.
covered, show
Mhm.
you grace when you don't even know that you need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wondering how this is happening,
Protect
when it's
you.
gonna end. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. What are y'all thoughts on peer pressure?
I think peer pressure is a real thing because I've had to go through that with some of my children. Well, mostly just my girls, really.
Do you
Maybe like
remember
two of my
when you were in it?
when I was well, yeah. The thing about the whole having sex thing, that was peer pressure. Like, it almost made me feel like, oh, you have to do this. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because if you don't do this, there was never no if you don't do this, but it was just implied like, no, you got to do this, because I'm gonna keep asking you until you do it. Like, I'm gonna keep telling you how much you need to do it until you do it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. What about, have you ever found yourself though in peer pressure, like when it came down to drugs or alcohol?
Um, Not really. I've never been pressured to do drugs. I've never been pressured to drink because I mean, and this is this is not funny. I guess it's just like a country thing. Like, when you a kid in the country, you might be drinking beer by the time you're 6. You know
I would
what I'm
say,
saying? Like, I can remember I
thank
can
you so much.
remember
Have a
being
good night.
4 and I had the hiccups and we were all outside. I remember this so clear. I was like 4 or 5 years old. I had the hiccups and somebody told my daddy to go get me a cup of water because I had the hiccups. And because he didn't want to get up, he just gave me his beer and I drank it. By the time you be 11, 12 at the cookouts with everybody and, somebody will slip you a cup or, so,
Mhm.
I it wasn't really pressure. It was just like, this is what we doing tonight. So,
Mhm.
hey, if the
Right.
uncles and everybody cool with it, that's what we doing
Right.
tonight.
You just felt like it's part of the family, and the
Right.
kid hadn't just broke you in.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yep.
Let me tell you the crazy thing. So my my kids were, Karita was 15, Sean was 13. Um, they were all around 15, 16, and under. So say Karita was 16, Sean 14, Daisha 12. We're gonna go with that age. And I go straight. I don't know where I'm going. Jesus Lord Father. Let me put on my GPS. But it was this thing. I can't remember what it was on, but it was this all kids, one in three kids have tried alcohol by the age they are of 15. So I have 15-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, let me test this theory and see. So I go to Daisha. I said, have you ever had alcohol? And she looked, yeah, I turn it up every night. I said, no, please, I'm just asking for a reason. You're not in trouble. No, Mama, I don't drink. So I said, okay. I went to Karita. I said, have you ever had any kind of alcohol? And she's like, no, I don't want no alcohol. I don't like alcohol. I said, how you know if you ain't never had it? Mama, I don't drink. I said, okay. I said, okay. So I go to Sean. I said, Sean, have you ever had any alcohol? Am I in trouble? Sean, yes, ma'am. I was at a party and they gave me beer, but I didn't like it. I was shocked. I was literally naive to the fact thinking that my kids was protected because I knew where they were and I knew what was going on and everything. And I was sitting there like, wow, I need to talk to them more about, what's going on in the world, because here I am thinking that, they're sheltered and protected, and
Mm-hmm.
please, no.
Yep. It's like now, it's like even though you may know where your kids are, you still don't know what's going on.
Right?
You
You
don't
know?
know what the other children are doing. Yeah.
Right. And you don't know what other parents allow in their homes. Because
Yep.
as speaking as a person who's, I had a boyfriend, he's, we were I guess high school sweethearts. But his mother would go get us rooms and we was like 15 and 16 years old. So it's like, even though that child may be with you, make it, I'm gonna be the chaperone to go to the movies. I don't trust that either, because you may be that type of mother that's gonna go get them a room, So no, I don't trust it either. If I ain't going, then I don't think you going either. That's just how I am now, because I know how I was at 15, 16.
Exactly. Scheming. And that's one of the main reasons why I wanted us to have this conversation, because we remember. I remember we used to scheme hard.
Yep.
I'm trying to tell you.
And I didn't even have to scheme like that. Like, I was the only child. My mom and dad, their relationship was so just rocky all the time. It was like me being out of her hair and where she didn't have to worry about me, so to speak. It was like, okay, cool, go. You going to your friend's house, cool. So I ain't gotta worry about you tonight. You know what I'm saying? Not in that way, but I just think that she was in survival mode for herself, trying to survive her marriage. So it was like, the older I got, and if I wanted to go spend the night with a friend, it's like, cool, go ahead. It's one less thing I got to worry about. So it was like, I could just say, hey, I'm going to spend the night with Tiffany. She ain't never met Tiffany. Ain't never heard of Tiffany. It's just, Tiffany mama said I could, and they going to come pick me up. So it's like, okay. And that's just what it was. I ain't got no phone. I don't have no type of nothing for you to get in contact with me for.
Nah, you ain't had no phone. You had a pager though.
I did have a page, but I didn't get that until I was probably like 16.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like I would be, gone for a day or two before she would hear from me. It's like, oh, hey, how you doing? Like, but me now, because I know how I was back then, is, oh, can I go to such and such house? I need a phone number. I need her daddy's phone number, her mama's phone number. I need a ID or something. Turn your location on. I gotta know where you at, what you doing. Like, I gotta know that when I FaceTime, you pick up or I will pull up. That's just me. So I'm not.
I remember. I want to say I may have been about maybe 14 when I think I was exposed to alcohol for the first time. But I was about like your son, Tawanda. I was not interested back then because I was like, this ain't right. This don't taste right either. I was like, this don't taste right. But I remember my kid came to me and told me she was exposed to alcohol in 8th grade. And I was like, you like, what? Really? She's like, yeah, she was I had let her go to I think we hadn't been living up here in this area. You know how y'all be having those, what is it, barn fires or something?
Yeah, a little bonfire or kickback. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know, where I'm from, we don't do that. We don't do no barn fires. Okay. Ain't nobody outside burning no fires, roasting nothing. Okay. And I let her go. And she was like, they was all sitting around. These little kids drinking, what she said, beer and Coca-Cola.
Mm-mm. They ain't even a good combination.
No. And she was like, one of the kids gave her some. And she was like, it made my heart burn. And it was just
Oof.
gross. And I was
Oof.
like, why would you even drink behind somebody? It's just gross.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, I just wanted to try it, but I never do it again. I just
Yeah.
but now she's in that. Now I can tell you because I'm an adult.
It's crazy. I think it's crazy that what these kids get introduced to so early these days.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot. That's why I don't know. Sometimes I feel not bad, but kind of sad for my kids because I feel like they're growing up in like the world of TikTok and
Yeah.
Instagram and all these little Snapchats and all this stuff right here. So it's like sometimes I feel like even with my baby girl, I feel like sometimes she gets a false sense of reality sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Because it's always, oh, I saw this on TikTok. Well, we don't do that here. Just certain things like so like I don't know. It's like you have to watch and make sure that you are in tune to whatever it is they got going on, knowing who their friends are. Because I just had to pull her from a little thing. Like she can't go to her I don't want to say her best friend, but it was like her good friend house to go spend the night anymore just because of the things that go on over there because I'm just not with it. And you don't leave here with certain influences. I don't want you bringing them back into my house.
Right.
So that's just how I feel. Like, you can talk on the phone to her and you can talk to her at school because I know that she really feels like that's her friend and she doesn't really understand why. But yeah, just
Well, I'm glad you took it there because my next question was gonna be, what is your experiences too with betrayal of friendship?
like then or now.
Back then and now.
I think my first betrayal of friendship was the guy I was talking to, my high school sweetheart. Him and one of the chicks I grew up with, like they were like having dealings with each other behind my back. And I think that was like the first time a friend had ever really betrayed me. And it was like, I'm just different. Nobody had to ever tell me, hey, you don't go behind your friends and sleep with, or talk to.
It was built in us, I think.
Right. Nobody ever had to tell me that. I just thought it's like, you done been with her. You know what I'm saying? And then, if you know your friend like that. Right. So I think that was
I was raised that
first.
you don't even address no man for nothing.
Right.
You address his wife or his girlfriend. You don't ask some man for nothing.
Right.
You better go to his
I would
wife
go
or
through your
girlfriend.
girlfriend or your wife before I ask you for anything. Like I would never do that because I feel like it's just a form of respect.
Yes.
Because for me, like, well, I'm gonna tell you this, right? Back then, like being in my early 20s, it's like, well, what's the difference? You know what I'm saying? I had that type of mindset because I had never been married. I had never seen a healthy marriage or whatever. So it was like, what's the difference if she talked to you or your husband? Like, why are you so offended? But now it's like, oh, okay, I see what you're talking about because people are scandalous. And, sometimes not even trying to be scandalous, some people can take things the wrong way. Like you may take a man being nice to you, it's like, oh, he want me. And that just may be how he was raised. Right. So, I mean, I get it now, but back then it was just like, what's the big deal? I'm talking to your husband, so it like, I don't want him, but now I see, I see, the issue.
What about you, Tawanda?
Crazy story. So I betrayed a friend, my best friend. I didn't have friends growing up. We moved around a lot. So whenever I met someone and we started having fun and I could play at her house, we moved. So I didn't get a friend until 1994. And we're still friends to this day, but only because of who she is and how she grew up and how she know God. So, let me see, 1994. She's 6 years younger than me. And so when we met, I moved in, I was her best friend's neighbor, and all three of us became friends. But me and her hung more because I didn't have a child. I mean, she didn't have any children, and I didn't have the responsibilities of a child. So I went and, me and her hung and got closer. Fast forward to 2011. No, 2010, because I turned 40 without her being in my life. I got pulled over for not having on a seatbelt, and I had a warrant on me, and I said I was her and everything. And the police let me go. They was like, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yeah, I don't have my license and everything." Because this was before, they had pictured ID as like in their car that they could see who you are and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
We both were dark skinned, heavy set, and I kind of looked young and she kind of looked older. So I could pass if they pulled her name up. So they wrote me a ticket, told me to come to court. They'll drop it for me not having my license, this and that, and pay the seatbelt ticket. I went home to get a charger. I had worked extra. Go back and I'm feeling bad. I'm feeling bad. So I go and I think I done missed my exit. I go and the next morning I call her and I'm crying. I'm just crying. I said, I did something real bad. She was like, "Tell me what." I said, "I can't. You'll be mad at me." She, "Tell me. If you don't tell me and I find out, I'm gonna be real mad." I said, I can't. I'll tell you after work." She called me after work and I told her what I did. She was like, "Why?" I had a warrant, and she hung up the phone on me. She went and found the police officer that gave me the ticket and said, it wasn't me, that it wasn't her, that it was her friend. And the policeman was like, "That's not a friend that'll do you like that." And he said, "Do you want to press charges on her?" She said, "No, I just want the ticket in her name." So by this time, I had took care of the warrant and everything like that. And when the police officer gave me the ticket, he said, "That's a real friend," because I asked her if she wanted to press charges, and she said no. I begged her to let me press charges on you, and she said no. He said, "I don't think you deserve her as a friend." She didn't talk to me for a whole year. And this was someone, I would go in her house, lay in her bed, open the refrigerator, get what I want, just I'm at home. This is my best friend.
Right.
And so now we're back close. But it's still not that bond that we had back then. I guess, and I asked her why did she forgive me, and everything like that. Why did she press charges? That's why I said, and she said, because I knew me not talking to you would hurt you more, and it did. It really did.
Wow.
So I was the one that betrayed a friend. As far as sleeping with my friend's man, no woman alive that said I was friends can ever say, I slept with their man. I'm like Barbara on that, oh no, that was my friend. So, You know,
Yeah.
that's not what we do.
Right. I
Yeah.
think we come from that era where we, yeah, you wasn't
Yeah.
allowed to be doing all that.
Right.
Do better. Yeah. I say mine was, I remember I had a best friend, me and her went to 4K together, 5K, and I would count her as my biggest betrayal because I remember when I was a teenager, she scandalized my name about my first boyfriend. Like she told everybody about him. She told everybody about our relationship, and then she lied
Mm,
and like start telling lies and just I mean told like everybody she knew, but it would be lies that she just
mm.
made up. And so she ruined my whole perspective of what a friend was supposed to be.
Yep.
And I think from that point forward, I ain't never see friends the same. Like
Wow.
I'd be like, oh, okay. When people be like,
Right.
oh, that's my friend, and be like, oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Until I
think
got
because
older. Until I became an adult and really start meeting more mature, real people, I'm gonna say.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think like you get older and you really like define what a friend means to you.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like sometimes like like I can look back at that now and be like, we was just kids. We was just kids just doing whatever. And you know, you gotta fault yourself for just hanging around with people who just doing whatever, because if they'll do it to, this person over here and they say that's their friend, and if you their friend, and if they did it to this friend, how you ain't different? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you said, you get older and you just define what a friend is to you, and that's why I tell people I'm not so quick to call everybody my friend,
Mm-hmm.
because friends will do you dirty and like they don't know what you're talking about. Like, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like my kids will tell me, you need to go out and get you some friends. That's okay.
Life experiences, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you want to share, Tawanda?
I got, I don't know. I guess because you said betrayal and everything, and betrayal is. Where am I going? Hold on, y'all. Hope this one is right. It turned me around twice. But a betrayal is my baby sister slept with my kid's dad, and the one guy that I thought wouldn't hurt me because of the fact that he knew what I went through. He knew the pain, he knew the hurt, he knew the everything that happened in my childhood, and he slept with my baby sister because I wasn't into all the extra part of intimacy,
Mm-hmm.
and so when that happened, I pushed back and away from family, and I guess my question to you is, have either one of y'all been hurt by family when you were young?
Oh yes.
What do you mean, like when dealing with a relationship?
No, just being hurt, betrayed, used, or
Okay.
She said by like family.
Mm-hmm.
not friend, but family,
Not close family,
blood
no.
family.
Yeah, like I have some distant cousins I done went through stuff with, but not like my close family, because I'm like the youngest before I had my sister, that is. I'm the youngest. And so
Yeah.
I was pretty much the one that was alone,
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like, everybody's way older than me. And so by the time I was old enough to go through stuff, they had done, they in high school about to graduate in college and stuff. So I'm trying to figure it all out,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you was that young. You was like a baby. Okay.
Mm-hmm. They're older than me. So I was like, oh, ain't nobody trying to come back and be around the little kid phase.
I think even though my friend doing what she did to me, I think the worst hurt or betrayal that I've ever had was from family. Because I don't know, it's like, to me, you'll get over certain things. Like I get over you sleeping with the dude I was messing with. I might not trust you around nobody else I bring, you know what I'm saying, that I'm dealing with.
Mhm.
But I get over that because, at some point, like seriously, how long you gonna hold on to this? Like,
Right.
if we was 15 and 16 back then and we 30 and 40 now, you should have been to let that go. But I feel like
I've
when
been to
you
let it
get
go, but when I leave, you leaving too. Come on, let's go.
right, exactly, yeah, like that. So, but I feel like the worst betrayal you could ever have, or the worst pain you could feel from that, is from family. And I think that's what my worst part has came from family. And I think that's why I don't trust people, because with how my mom raised me, like, family is supposed to be there for you. Y'all supposed to help each other when you can, just love each other unconditionally and stuff like that. But that's what my mom taught me. But I was raised around my dad's side of the family. My mom, I was raised by my mom too, but I was with my dad's side of the family a lot, because that's who we were surrounded by. And they didn't get that concept of family. Like nobody told them that. So it's like my family I don't know what they do now because I don't really deal with them, but my family used to do a lot of things that you just don't do to your family. And it makes you feel like, if your own family treats you this way,
Right.
then, like, why would you go around and make friends with people as much? And I'm good on all that. So I think that's where my trust broke down. And it's hard to trust people, period, once, what I'm saying, you've been betrayed or whatever, especially when it's somebody that's close to you. So I would say that my biggest betrayal came from family.
My biggest betrayal, I would say, came from when I was younger, would be friends, and when I was an adult, would be the men in my life.
Oh yeah, them too.
Hmm.
Yeah, between those two, it's like, yeah. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's where my trust issues stem from. From family first, because I think they broke my trust with people before I ever even had a friend to do it for me, because I already didn't trust people when I was like 12 and 13.
Hmm.
And it's like, what has happened to you at 12 and 13? You don't trust people, because you're still a
Right.
kid. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm. It definitely got you ready for the real world. I say that.
It really did.
Hmm.
Yes, ma'am. So yeah. Okay, so I have a question for both of y'all too. How do you start to rebuild that with the people who are closest to you after you've been hurt so deep by someone who is close to you? And then it's like they're purposely doing this to you. So it's not like it was an accident or it was a oops. It was like, I'm personally going to do this to you with the intentions to hurt you. I don't want you to find out it was me, but when you do find out who it is, how do you rebuild that trust with that person?
You love on them. You have to love, because what's going on with them is something deeper, or the reason why they're trying to or betray you, or whatever the situation is, and they're not getting the love that they're searching for, that they don't know that they need. And the hardest thing to do is love someone that doesn't hurt us,
Yep.
because we don't want them to have the feeling of love. We want them
Right.
to hurt back. But if we love on them, then we're being greater and showing them a greater thing and it'll hurt them in a different way.
Right.
Because the satisfaction of knowing they broke or hurt us, because we're continually loving on them, and it's confusing. It's just like confusing the enemy by giving praise to God in our rough, low times, in our hard times, and everything like that. The same way with people, we have to show that love and forgive, and like it didn't affect us. Pray, give it to God, and go on. Who am I to talk and say that? Because it took me a long time to release and let go of being abandoned, and because as a beautiful 3-month-old baby who didn't just gave me away, but I still say honor my mother, you know?
Right. Okay, I'm gonna say, all right, so I'm gonna give it to you from both perspectives. Before I grew, my take on that would have been, I'd like just disconnect. Like that was my first mindset, just disconnect, blog. I'll see you, you don't see me, I'll talk to you, and you don't talk to me. Just 100% disconnect.
Right.
Now, since I've grown, I try to have a deeper understanding, and so now I kind of analyze people more. And so I try to see where people's coming from in their mindset, how they were raised, maybe their outlook on the situation. Like Twanda say, I think about, what would God want us to do? And I just try to see it from different perspectives and not just my own perspective.
I think her. Okay.
Yeah, so now I try
April, you totally went out. I didn't hear you.
Yeah, I try to see it from different perspectives now, Twanda. Did you hear me?
Okay.
And so not to disconnect. So
I heard you say you tried to.
You heard me say what?
I heard you say that you try to analyze people and everything.
Yeah, so I try to see things from different perspectives and not just my own, and try to take my own mind and run with it like I used to. I used to would just disconnect with people and not care, like just disconnect. And it is what it is. Tunnel vision style is how I used to be with it. Now I'm a little bit more understanding. I do. I'm a little bit more understanding, right? And so I try to see it from different point of views and I like to try to repair relationships a little bit more now. Not repair to the point where it'll ever be anything, but at least have peace. Because I'm a firm believer of I can forgive you and we ain't got to have dinner together. We ain't going to lunch together. But I see you throw my hand up. We can get in the car. God bless you and have a great day. If I see you broke down on the side of the street, I'll give you a ride. However, it ain't nothing. And it will be nothing. Yeah.
Right. I think for me, I can't say that there is a relationship that I've had that I no longer have that I want back. And it's not a thing of a person when I love you, I want to see you win. I just want to just do it over there, because the thing with me is like, I don't know. It's like I said, nobody has ever had to tell me how to be loyal to a person. I just watched how my mom was with my father, because if ever a person if ever a person needed to leave a person where they found them, that was their relationship, was that definition. So for me, it was like, once a person does me like dirty, because I'll give a person 2 and 3 and 6, 8 chances. You know what I'm saying? Before I just let it go. But when I let it go, it's not like a thing of I want to see you do bad. It's just that our relationship has truly ran its course. God has allowed me to see certain things that go on in people's life or that has happened in people's life. So I get a better understanding, like you said, of why you would do that or why you might say this to a person knowing that it's not true. Because sometimes people will use people as pawns just to do what they next time I see you. I might not talk to you this time because I might tell you something. I might see Tawanda and say, yeah, I can't stand April. She make me sick. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But it's like, I know that you want to talk. So I know that when Tawanda sees you, she's going to tell you that. And then you're going to say something. And then the next time I see Tawanda, she may tell me what you said. So now I got this back and forth going between us. And all I want is your attention. But I just can't come and say, well, April, I just want to talk to you about whatever. Some
Right.
people do that. Like I've been caught up in things like that. So it's like with my healing and with God showing me certain things, and I've actually been able to cry for certain people, to pray for certain people. I just no longer want you around me. And it's not to be mean. It's just for my own peace. Because even when people have done me dirty and I give them another chance, it's like every time they get back in my presence, it's still always something else. Like you just choosing to have a problem.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to live that way, you know?
Mhm.
So it's like it's no love loss. It's just for my own peace and sanity, I just don't be around people who I feel like they're not serving nothing positive in my life.
Yeah, and it's like you're growing. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I'm growing, so you can't stunt my growth.
Right.
You
Right.
know, I know you. I
Mm-hmm.
know you. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I know you, but
Yeah.
I'm still growing. So
Exactly. And it's I don't know, like it's like you don't want to like talk bad on nobody or like, you know, whatever. But it's like, you know, I've been in situations where I know a person is just dogging my name out. I mean, dragging my name through the mud. I ain't this, I ain't that, this, and just telling lies. And will behind the scenes call me and say, hey, I'm hungry, I ain't got nothing to eat. And I'll give you a plate. And you'll still turn around and talk about me like a dog. Yeah, I don't need it. So no, I'm not doing it. Those are the type of things I'm talking about. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that.
I've had that. Yeah. And so now
And
I
it's not
see
the
it
fact
from,
like,
I see it from that.
yeah,
I want to
it's not like,
comment. I want to
go
comment,
ahead.
please. One, I would never go back and tell April you don't like her barber because it would stop with me because no. In the sense of, you know, that's how so much he say, she
Mm-hmm.
say starts. And I have always hated that.
Yep.
I really did. My kids went through a lot of he say, she say. And to me, I feel like maybe you're venting and you're telling me something.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, okay. And you know, that's between you and April. If you don't like her, then you won't be around her. So I ain't gotta go back and tell April you don't like her because evidently you're not gonna go around her. So I'm like,
Right.
okay, yeah.
But
And
someone
so
gonna
then when I
say,
went April,
Barbara, why you don't like April? Well, you know, so what? April real cool. Why you don't like April? Like, what happened?
oh yeah, I mean I found out the reason why she didn't like you, but I ain't gonna come back and tell you she don't like you. I'm like, what? Why she ain't never do me like that?
Well, yeah, and
Right.
that's why to hit you with that. Oh, okay. Okay.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Just things like that. Because a lot of things you can forgive, a lot of things, you know, I have forgiven, but it just be things like that. I'm not gonna say I don't get over them. I don't need you to keep doing what you're doing. I would like for you to apologize and change if you could, but if not, just apologize and keep doing it, but just do it over there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's me. And I even thank God that I'm to a point like that because, like you said, April, you just be like, I'm done with it, and it's whatever. I'm not talking to you anymore. I don't care. That's how I used to be too. It's like, yeah, I don't care, and I was very glad to tell you that I don't care.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Don't even know your number. Take your name out the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Number be calling, you don't know who it is.
Right? Who is this? This your cousin? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Y'all real terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I done got better.
Yeah, me too. Thank God, because that's what it was. It wasn't nobody but God. Because,
Yeah.
I can tell you some stories. You be like, and you still talk to them? I do. You still pray for them? Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
So,
It takes much growth.
mm-hmm.
It takes much growth to get over when you done felt misused, mistreated,
Yep.
abused.
And when it was done unwarranted, it's like I've had things done to me. It's like, what? Now, why would she do that? Or why would he say that? Or what you mean? Because it comes totally out of left field, and it's like it's really like, what? I've had those moments too, and had to forgive people who said and done things in those moments that they're not sorry because they don't feel like they did anything wrong, and to this day will look me in my face and said, I don't know what you're talking about. But it's like I don't know. I know it's not going to sound weird because I know y'all both are believers and y'all believe in God and stuff like that or whatever. But it's like, I've had moments where God will give me a conversation that I was never even in the room for, but I know what was said. And I could tell you who said what. And it's I don't want to say it's weird, but it's just like I can know that and I could tell you that. And even though you may know it's true, you may be like, that's not what happened. But it's like I'll know it. And I don't have to be like, well, I was there, so I'm right. I just know that I'm right. Because you can tell like people's vibes and how they are when they're around you too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like when God puts that in my heart, it's like I just know I'm right. I can't explain it. I wasn't there. Nobody told me, but I just know I'm right. So.
Wow.
Well, can I say something on that?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
With sometimes when God, I and maybe this is just for me, I'm not going against what you say, but sometimes in situations like what I think you're explaining and saying, when he give you a revelation, it could be a scenario for you to be able to like correct something or fix
Right.
or help, because if it's something that you didn't do or misunderstood, maybe someone has a wrong perception of something. Is that kind of what you're talking about? Something bad that someone said and it was wrong?
No, like what I'm talking about is like I've actually had a family member that I was really, really close to. Like you couldn't tell me that wasn't my sister, even though I know he wasn't a sister. That was my sister. We was like this. You know what I'm saying? But it was a situation where she went back and told something very personal that was something that I had shared with her because, like I said, I looked at her as like my sister. But then not only did she tell what I told her, but she was throwing in like a little extra, like some extra lies, just to throw a little razzle dazzle in there. I guess maybe the story wasn't good enough for her. And she purposely told that business to people. I knew one of the people that she was saying to, but it was like 2 or 3 more people sitting there. She purposely told that and then purposely lied and then started acting funny towards me. And I could not figure out for the longest time what was the issue. And somebody had kind of gave me like a little inkling of what was said in the room, but the real I don't want to say conversation, so to speak, but the real thing was revealed to me like years later. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it's like,
Okay, I get you now.
oh,
Right.
okay. You know, stuff like that or whatever. So then it's like, you know, now you have to, I don't want to say deal with it with the person, but now it's like, you know, once God reveals that to you, and it's like, well, God, dang, why would you do that to me? And now I have to heal that hurt because now I'm hurt that you would do that. You know?
Right.
So, especially when I'm not doing anything to you, like that's what always gets me when people just start out of nowhere. It's like I don't even talk to you, so why? You know, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Did you understand where she's coming from, Tawanda?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything else you ladies would like to share that you really want someone to get or understand a little better?
For me, it's like coming from like as a little girl to now, um, I would just say that, you know, when you're alone, it's like, you know, I always know that God is there. Always. Like his grace and mercy follows you every day because I really feel like God is what got me to this point. Like the way I think is so much different, you know, like the way I used to think is just like, you know what, I don't care. We can all go to jail. I do not care. Or we can all die today. I don't like I just had that mentality because I think until I had my first child, I was so full of anger, I just didn't care. You know, it didn't matter to me. My mentality until my mom left this world was I go to jail. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter. She gonna come get me out. But I would just say that just know that God is always there, even you know when your family is it's the ones who's probably causing you the most stress and you know whatever. But just know that God is there and He's not gonna take you through nothing. If you ever wonder why you're going through something, you just ask God because it's always a reason. Now sometimes you might be the reason,
Right.
but you know God is always gonna be there. I feel like if I didn't know who He was, I wouldn't have made it this far. I feel like I would have took my life at 12, like I planned on doing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, and that just gives you a little bit of insight right there. Like you 12 years old and you want to kill yourself, not once but twice. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like you know, I don't know. He's brought me out of some real dark places. He's got me over times where I never thought I could recoup from. He's just brought me through a lot. And if you can't do nothing else, just pray. That because prayer will get you through anything. I don't care what it is. Prayer will get you through anything.
Mm-hmm.
Cause I know I'm not just operating off my prayers. I know my mom probably sent some prayers up before she left this world. My kids probably sent prayers up. They was little and we going through everything we going through, but it's definitely, you know, I don't know, it's different when you understand how powerful your prayers are.
Right.
Because I had to stop one day and realize that God had really put me. I was literally living at that time in the middle of a prayer that I had prayed maybe 5 years before that. So I would say if you can't do nothing else, you can pray.
Mm-hmm.
And you can pray through anything and everything.
Right. What about you, Tawanda? Anything you would like to leave to say to kind of help inspire or change somebody?
I would say that um, learning how to love yourself first and learning who you are is a key component before you ever go out and try to love somebody else. Make sure you know what makes or what you want to have you happy. What you want to be, what you want goals, set time for you, set things that's going to get you in the line with what God have for you. You know, not everybody know who God is at a young age, but if you are in knowledge in a way of knowing God or knowing well everybody to say it is so different, you know, for that you don't know who God is, but God is your sources. He's the one who created you. And having that relationship with him, like Barbara said, is a key component to life. But knowing that your life and you matter, that's what, you gotta love you first. The same love that your mama and daddy gave you as a child that you love, and you just thought it changes. I don't know where it go to when they hit 13, but it's like they don't know it's there anymore. But it's there. And I always know, you have to trust mom and daddy, because mom and daddy are supposed to love and guide you. If that's not the case, then find someone that do trust you and have that person to be able to talk to. Because talking about feelings and emotions and yourself, your well-being, is very crucial nowadays.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's really good, Tawanda, because I was gonna kind of say something similar, but I do want to say, hold on to the gems that you get from any and all people, because sometimes you won't get it from your home, sometimes you won't get it from your parents, you won't get it from, and you won't get it from church. You may get it from school. It might be that one teacher that sees something and can constantly inspire you. Hold on to that gem and just put it in your backpack for a later date. Because as a child, I remember it was those gems that I would get from teachers that would kind of help me get through some days.
Right.
It was the gem. So I would say, hold on. Like nothing is small. Hold on to it. Put it in your backpack. You're gonna need it for a later time. Like you said, consistent prayer. And for those who are not exposed to church, who may, and may not even know who God is, like I said earlier, even though you don't go, it's like, there's a higher power still looking out for you. There's something getting you through. And so, like Barbara said earlier, it's those prayers from your grandparents, your ancestors, that's carrying you through. Because what they say, ain't nothing like a praying grandmother, ain't nothing like a praying mother. That is real. That carries us over, and that we have no idea that that's taking place. And I'm also say, don't follow the trends. Set your own. Because you get caught up into those trends and what everybody else wants you to do, the peer pressure, and what's going on TikTok or what's going on at the school, until you lose yourself and don't know who you are.
Right.
And so you find yourself, you may waste your most valuable years trying to play catch up when you could have been enjoying yourself, getting to know who you are, what goals you want to set, doing what you want to do when you want to do it, versus doing what everybody else is trying to get you to. And I wish I would have known those things back then. Because it would have saved me a lot of time. And like Tawanda said, that self-love is so important, because then you won't be looking for love in all the wrong places. Because when a guy tell you that you cute, you're thankful, but you already know it and you could care less. Thank you and have a great day is what your response would be,
Right.
And so you wouldn't fall for all the wrong faces.
Lord, I just had this conversation with somebody 2 days ago.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So I think, and for those who might not, they don't have parents to validate who they are, you got to do, the work becomes harder. But you can still do the work. So we can't even use that as an excuse. I must say, eliminate the excuses too. Eliminate the excuses. It just takes harder work on our part. Put yourself around some good people.
Can I say something to that?
Yes,
right quick. I feel like what you just said right there, when you feel like you don't have like parents who do that for you. I don't want to say, I don't want to make it sound bad, like, my parents didn't validate me or whatever, but it's true. Like, and I like I said, I don't even think that they looked at it like that, because like I said, if you're not careful, you'll raise your children how you were raised. I don't think they got that, so they don't have it to give. It's like, if I pack your lunchbox, but I leave your sandwich out and I just give you chips and water, you're gonna be hungry because you don't have the sandwich. That's like the most important thing in your lunchbox. So I feel like when you have children and you don't give them that reassurance of, or that validation of, you're pretty and you're smart and you're this and you're that, and they start to get it from other places, that's where they'll start to look at it, and what you start to say won't matter because you're not the first person to tell me that. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So
Yep.
you have to do a lot of, harder work when you don't get it, because that's what I had to do. Like, my validation didn't come from my family and from my parents. It came from, the people on the bus who told me I was pretty, because my cousin was telling me I was ugly and I was black.
Mhm.
I had teachers at school telling me how smart I was. My parents didn't tell me how smart I was. They would just say that, oh, she's smart because she's making straight A's. But they would never say, hey, you know what? I just want to tell you that you're really smart and you're doing a good job making straight A's, in school. I know that's, that might be kind of tough, but you're doing a good job. Never got that. And
Mhm.
it was never a thing of me doing it for that. I was good in school because that's where I felt the most, I don't want to say love, but it's just that that's where I felt the most appreciated at school, you know. So it's like that's where I excelled. And I just wonder sometimes if that was backwards. Like, what if I would have had that at school and at home? Like, I always felt like I could have probably been further in life, or done certain things that I wanted to do or whatever. But it's like, when you don't know who you are as a person and nobody's like, reassuring you of anything, you get lost. And if you're not careful, you'll stay lost for a long time.
Mhm.
And I think it's important. That's why I think it's important as well to love on yourself. And you know what I'm saying? Like, if nobody else is telling you cute, you looking at your reflection and tell yourself that you're cute in the morning or whatever, because it's needed. Like, seriously.
Yeah,
So,
make it a habit. You gotta
mhm,
consistently tell yourself that you're cute. Like, I'm so
mhm.
pretty. It don't make no
Right.
sense. Make it consistent.
Because that's what I do for my kids. Now I know somebody probably feel like, oh, such and such is conceited. Oh, he think he look good. That's because I tell my boys every day, y'all so handsome.
Mhm.
I tell my kids, y'all so pretty, y'all smart. Just stuff I didn't get.
But
And
you
like,
see, but you get that when you hear what you just said?
say what
Even
now?
though you didn't get it, you know better to give it to
Mhm,
your kids.
mhm,
So I don't know, like when we be saying that, like, our parents didn't give it to us because they didn't get it, but it's something
mhm.
in you that want to make a difference to make it better.
Right. Because I know how that feels. I think that's what it is with me. I know how it feels to not have that versus when you do. So
Mhm.
that's why I do it for my kids, because as we know, kids are treacherous and kids will say some things. And if you don't have somebody at home backing it up, like, oh, you, kids to say stuff that person might want to be up for, might be what you tell your kids at home, what I'm saying, and how you lift them up and stuff like that, because oh, I might at home tell me I'm pretty and I must be ugly. You never know how that's going to resonate with somebody. That's why I even tell my kids, like, I'm not saying they do it, but I'm just saying, I tell them, when you go to school, don't be mean to people, because you don't know what they go through at home.
Right.
Right.
So, yeah.
That is so true. What about you, Tawanda? Anything else?
This was very amazing. It was, I enjoyed this. I do hope someone understand that, adults have passed. Adults
Mm-hmm.
have lives of, not always being good, smart, and doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
That when we tell you no, it's because we understand what you're asking, and we don't want you to make or feel what we went through at that age of what you want to do.
Right.
Right.
It's been there, done that, got some medals
Exactly.
for it.
Mm-hmm.
Most definitely. And so that's why I thought this was a great idea, Tawanda, because I really want people to see that we've been young. We didn't come out as adults.
Right. With
That was
kids.
a process. Yeah. So you are seeing people who done seen the worst
Right.
and still was able to, come back on top and still was able to find God, able to want to share. And then we're still getting better. We're still
Right.
trying to get closer and get better as we
Yeah.
grow. We're trying to become better people daily. And so we haven't even arrived yet.
Mm-hmm.
We still walking.
Right.
We ain't
Exactly.
stopped yet. We ain't stopping. Um, and so this is for, like I said, all the teenagers who need it, the male teenagers, the female teenagers, to know. We know what premarital sex is. We know what having a baby at an early age is.
Mm-hmm.
You talking to somebody had a baby at 18 and was married by the time she was 19. And they didn't know what she had going on.
Right.
Okay. So, and had another baby by the time I was 21, a special needs child, and was like, what's about to really go on? You know? So go ahead.
Okay. I want to say one more thing because I know this might sound bad, but it's the truth. And if my ugly truth will help somebody, then I'm glad to share it. But what you were saying just a while ago, and you said, you had a baby early and then you got married early and everything, not knowing what to expect. When I had my first child, I was 17 years old or whatever. And I had my second child when I was 20. When I told my then husband and my oldest son and their father, I told my oldest three, I told their father and my husband then and their brother, I said, y'all need to start validating these girls, because if you don't, they're going to get to an age where the first person who, says they're cute or whatever, they're going to go for it, because I did it. And what that landed me at is I was pregnant at 17, had another when I was 20, 21, 22. Like I spent my early 20s having babies. You know what I'm saying? It's like it got to a point where I was having a baby. It almost looked like every year, 2000, 2003, 2004. I lost one in 2005, 2006. No babies came out in 2007, 2008. It started to be that type of thing. And it was now I can look back and say, I had my children irresponsibly. I can say that now. But back then when I was in it, it was just like, me and my high school sweetheart, we have 4 together. So it was like, but no, we love each other. We're going to be together. So let's just have these babies. You know what I'm saying? It's not like my self-worth wasn't where it is now. It wasn't, oh, well, maybe you should wait and get this popping before you have another child or before you add another mouth to feed. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. But when you don't have that self-worth, when you don't understand who you are, it's like you just be out there doing anything. And
you feel like that's your identity.
Right. But that's why when you ask me, who are you? I was like, I have 6 children. You know what I'm saying? Like that just becomes part of like my makeup. But it's like, that's what the not validating your children, the not reassuring, not the positive. If you only feed them the negative, they'll look for the positive somewhere. So it's like, I'd rather them find it here first. That's why I try to uplift my kids and tell them, you smart. When they say, oh, I can't do this, it's too hard. Can't never could. So why don't we try? Try first before you say you can't.
Right.
So that's why that's so important to me. I think that before you have kids, you should have to take a class in positive motivation or something, because it's so easy to tell your kid what they're not. And oh, you just like your daddy, or you act just like your mama. And if you say that in a negative way, then what you think that child feels? So yeah, I wanted to say that too.
And I want to piggyback off that too is, you know, we say do what you're good at. You hear people say that, do what you're good at. But like you just said, your validation comes through having children, and two, we'll do what we're good at. So if we're good at pleasing a man,
right,
we tend to want to repeat it. Like Tawanda said earlier, it became a duty.
Right.
Yep. The mindset of it's a duty and I'm good at it. You know, that's a prostitute's motto. I'm good at it, so that's why I do the job.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yep. And then it's crazy when that same dude will turn around and say, "Oh, ain't nobody gonna want you now with all them kids." You know, that's crazy, because it's like, you know, I gave you those kids out of love, but that's what you say to me when I don't want to be with you no more because you don't respect me. But okay, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Tawanda, you still there?
Yes.
Anything else, babe?
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah.
Anything else
you want to cry?
You okay?
I am. I guess reflection and reflecting and everything. You know.
Oh, you're cleansing. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
What about you, Barbara? Anything else?
No, because once you get me started, I like to talk, and I know it's getting late, but it's just
exactly, that's me. I could open up another door right now.
Right, like I'm keeping myself from saying stuff.
Right? It's so much, you know, reflecting back on everything. You know, I was Ubering earlier, and there was this lady I took around the corner, not far, but we both agreed that if we could go back to 18 with the mindset that we know now God gives us second, third chances. These was both our exact words. But why can't we go back and do life over with the thing that we learned and say, God, we'll be better. Let me do this over again. I said, I wouldn't change having kids. You know, I wouldn't change, you know, having my 3 kids, but it would be a difference in how I taught them, raised them, and who they are now. You know, and just talking now and reflecting everything about what I did, how I grew, how I changed, what happened to me, and how that is who I am, and how I deal with certain things, or how I release other things. Excuse me. It's good to grow up. Yeah. Everybody don't get that opportunity to grow up, whether it's, you know, they die prematurely or they mentally don't grow up. You know, people say 18 you're grown. No, being grown is a mindset, and I tell people that 18 make you an adult of responsibility. It do not make you grown. Being grown is when you know how to take care of yourself, your responsibilities, and your life. You know, I told my kids, when you grow, you ain't gonna ask your mama, can you have some money? So until you stop asking me for money, you ain't never grown. You know, until you can budget yourself, until you can live your life and do what you need to do on this earth responsibly, then you're still a child. But it's a mindset. It's maybe not a child, but it's a young adult. It's stages of growth of being grown. You know, so many kids. April, somebody you know real well said, why is being an adult so hard? I
Mhm.
was like, yeah, you remember the times you wanted to be an adult? But I didn't know it would be like this hard though. But did you
Yep.
listen when we told you, you just stay a child?
Right.
You didn't say why. You didn't say why.
Mhm.
Truth. We don't give the reason why because we try to, not let our children see struggle.
Right.
Mhm.
We want to, show them that, okay, I got to work and get this, and that. But it's also struggle because sometimes we rob Peter to pay Paul, to make
Yep.
to give something that they don't need, but we want them to have.
Right.
You're right, Tawana,
So
because I was just thinking last week I should let mine see a little struggle. I was thinking I was talking to mine, and she was just thinking that the world's just bubbles and cotton candy. I was like, dang, you should have seen a little struggle.
yeah, yeah,
Look,
because we
I was looking at it, so I was like, you don't know nothing about syrup sandwiches.
right.
Like,
That's what
girl.
we know how to survive and we know struggle, but then we got in our mind, oh, my children ain't gonna never understand what it's like to have a bread sandwich with
Right.
eggs and salt and pepperoni,
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's crazy because mine done seen me struggle, but I don't think they was watching because sometimes they'll say something, I'll be like, what? Where'd you get that from? Like, certain things you didn't know what was going on, but now I know you thought a little struggle in there because I
Right.
don't know.
Yeah. I be looking at it like, God, dog, y'all got it good. Mm, it's something. But I guess it's all a part of the plan, right? We got to experience on our own time.
it is.
Yeah. This is great, ladies. I surely appreciate you guys. You
Yeah, I
should
like
see
it.
how Tawanda was looking at me when I told her about this barber. I was like, man, I got this idea and I want us to get together and talk about our lives. Tawanda talking about, huh?
I did. I was like,
Look, I told my husband, I said, I don't know. I said, because I don't know if I might say too much or I don't want to say the right thing or how I talk. He was like,
I didn't have to put no fire under Barbara though, Tawanda. But it's like when we talked a couple of weeks ago, our conversation flowed so good, so it was easy. I think that's why she was like, okay.
Right. It really, but you know what though? I've been wanting to do something like this, but it's like I don't want to be sitting nowhere talking to myself. You know what I'm saying? Like I would rather have other people around me to bounce stuff off of and not compare, but tell us what you went through or tell us how you feel, because we know we're three different individuals. We might look at the same subject totally different, so you can always learn something from somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, this was good.
Yeah,
And we need to do this again and maybe have some updated topics or something else we want to address.
Okay. Just let me know when. I'm down.
Okay. So Wanda, you want to close us out?
okay, I can. Most gracious and kind Heavenly Father, Lord God, we thank you so much, Lord. Thank you, God, for life, health, and strength. Thank you for your love, your grace, your mercy, and your forgiveness, most of all our sins, our wrongs, just us being disobedient. Thank you for April and her heart of making a difference and making a change. Thank you for the desire you put inside of her and the willingness to step out of her comfort zone in some things and gather together to make a difference. Heavenly Father, I pray for each and every one of us and those who will hear her podcast, that you would reveal yourself in them of who they are to you and the goals and the life that you have for them. I pray for their protection. I pray for their struggle. I pray for just their low times as well as their high times. I thank you in advance for everything that you're doing going forward. We give you honor, glory, and praise, Lord. In your son, Jesus' name, amen.
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 Thank you, Tawanda. I appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am.
You ladies have a great night.
You
And-
too.
And
Hope
Tawanda,
you have
you
a good
go home
week.
safely. You too. Have a good week, and I hope to see y'all Saturday.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Talk to y'all later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.